At this busy market in Abidjan, a small group of activists is trying to catch parents' attention. They target the baby cereal brand Cerelac, produced by Nestlé.
In France, there's no added sugar in baby cereals because it makes people sick later on. There's obesity, diabetes, and tooth decay. But here in Côte d'Ivoire, as you can see, sugar is the second ingredient.
The campaign follows revelations by Public Eye. The Swiss NGO analyzed around 100 Cerelac products sold in 20 African countries. The result, 90% contain high levels of added sugar. A shock for many parents.
When the sugar-free Cerelac comes to Côte d'Ivoire, we will give it to our children again. But with sugar, never. I won't give it to them anymore.
When we go to the hospital, we're told to give only Cerelac to our children. My daughter is 3 years old, and from birth until 32 months, she only had Cerelac. So imagine the amount of sugar. They're not really thinking about the health of African children.
In the Ivory Coast, Cerelac products contain an average of 13% added sugar. In most European products, there is none. The World Health Organization recommends banning added sugar in food for children under 3, but Ivorian law does not restrict it.
Today, the standard allows up to 7.5 grams of sugar per portion in infant cereals. That's too much. We're asking the government to align with the zero added sugar standard. If the current regulation is changed, Nestlé's Cerelac products and many others would become illegal in Côte d'Ivoire. They would need to take out the sugar.
Cerelac generates around $15 million in annual sales in the country, making Nestlé the leading infant food company in Africa. But a visit to the supermarket shows its main competitors follow similar practices.
There's also phosphatine, which contains added sugar and is recommended from 6 months for babies. And this other brand also contains sugar. Sugar is the second ingredient listed.
Sugar can be particularly addictive for children. For years, the World Health Organization has warned about the double burden in Africa, where malnutrition and obesity coexist. The number of people with diabetes in the Ivory Coast increased by 60% in 5 years.
We're seeing the prevalence of cardiovascular and metabolic diseases rising in African countries. Consuming products with added sugar changes the taste preferences of children. They become addicted to sugar. So the question is the goal to have a healthy population, or is the goal simply to increase profits?
Nestlé does not deny that most of its African products contain added sugar, but the company says the local health context justifies it.
At Nestle, we do not have double standards. We apply the same nutritional approach everywhere we operate, without exception. The real silent tragedy in our region is micronutrient deficiency. When we fortify our products, for example with iron, adding sugar helps stabilize the micronutrients during what we call the storage process, and also helps neutralize bitterness.
Since late last year, Nestlé has been developing a sugar-free option for the African market. For now, it's only available in Ghana, with promises that it will reach the country by the end of the year. Some entrepreneurs are not waiting.
This is roasted millet. It's a local raw material, naturally rich in iron. We rely on ingredients that are truly rich in nutrients.
Several local companies have emerged in recent years, offering baby foods without added sugar.
Here you have the tropical flavor made with rice, tiger nut, coconut, and maize. As you can see on the label, no preservatives, no added sugar, and no added salt.
The brand Jasmade was created after a grandmother made her own food for her grandchild.
She was severely anemic and losing weight. At the time, Jasmad only consumed imported foods, which mostly contain added sugar and salt. So my mother, her grandmother, decided to process our local cereals to make food for our little princess. After a while, we saw an improvement in her health. My niece had access to healthy products that truly helped her recover, so I decided to offer these cereals to others. That's how Jasmad became a company.
But this might not be enough to reverse a worrying trend. Today, 8% of people in the Ivory Coast are obese, a figure that continues to rise.